Hello, everyone. This is Daniel with the Legacy of Daniel podcast. I thank you for taking the time to join in with me on this show, the Manifest Destiny Show, a show about creativity, identity, the individual, free will, absolute free will, and cultivating this power, this nurturing power to fuel your creativity, so that you can have this identity, an identity that will go with you throughout your entire life and helps you go from where you are in your current state of being to becoming, and hopefully becoming something great that you can manifest uh, to the entire world, and makes your life beautiful and makes wherever you go more beautiful. And so that's what we're about: creativity, identity, free will, the individual, and how you can really come to nurture that destiny that awaits for you, to reach out and grab it with all of your might. In today's show, I want to talk about money. Money is a very important thing when it comes to identity. Fortunately, developing identity sometimes takes money. Creativity does sometimes require tools, paper, pencils, college degree, car sometimes to get to work. Problem solving, unfortunately, does have a lot of problems with it, and one of those problems is sometimes the need of money. But with creativity, you can oftentimes come to a better understanding of money through your identity, and really come to see what you need to accomplish what you want to become, or what you need to become to fulfill whatever it is that you want to fulfill or need to fulfill. We often hear of the words or the phrase personal responsibility, budgeting, all that stuff. And I am not really a big pusher on budgeting or personal responsibility. I feel like myself, it puts up barriers in the mind, and it says, um, if this is what you need, then this is what you need to go by. And I'm not sure if that's the correct way. I'm a bit more of a believer in really allowing our creativity to flourish, because that is the only way we can really come to an understanding of our identity. And with that, we come to an understanding of the world, and we make better observations, we become enlightened, and then we have a really good understanding of what we need and what we need to accomplish. When we start putting barriers in front of ourselves, such as budgeting and personal responsibility, we're taking away that creativity that was given to us, that is almost like our right. So you don't want to really put these types of ideologies in your path. That doesn't mean that budgeting is bad, or personal responsibility with money is bad. But oftentimes, what we're doing to young children, we're saying, "Oh, you need to learn how money works. You need responsibility. So go buy a car." And that is not the correct way. Or they'll say, "Oh, you need to take some responsibility and build up your credit," and that's not a good way. I think the best way to truly come to an understanding of money is through creativity that nurtures an identity, so that you can come to understand what you want to be, what you want to become. And when you become enlightened by that, and you can understand the world around you, the environment, and better understand what you may need, then you can come to an understanding of the tools that you may need, the skills you may need, and yes, any other resource such as money. When we put creativity first, we are fueling our identity, and we are fueling our destiny, and everything that we need will come by the way of our creativity, because we will be thinking, we will be problem solving, we will be acquiring wisdom, knowledge, and skills. That is the way it needs to be done. The way of the barrier, problem solving, budgeting, kind of puts a bushel over our creativity, because now we say, oh, in order for me to do this, I need to do this or that, according to some budgeting rule, or according to the cost of this car that I just bought that I didn't really need, because I can just walk or bike to work, or maybe I can just take an online class. So there's a lot of different things that we can do when we allow creativity to flourish, and we do not allow disorder or chaos to push us out of our creativity. For example, this morning, I was thinking on this show. I started thinking on it yesterday, and I just kind of allowed it to continue empowering me in a creative way. But I had to let it work. And what I did this morning is I found some other creative things I can do. And that is how creativity builds on itself, it strengthens itself. And when you allow that to happen, it pushes out all the barriers, these self-righteous barriers, these preconceived ideas on morality, what it means to be good, it means to be right, or any of these socially constructed ideas that sometimes impair our thoughts. They may be well thought and they may be good ideas. Budgeting is a wonderful idea, and so is personal responsibility. But when we put that before our creativity, we are impairing ourselves and we are reducing our ability to cultivate an identity and use that identity to walk into our destiny, our beautiful life that is waiting for us through our creativity. I know this may sound a little something like you may have never heard before, but I don't do any really budgeting. I just, if something's expensive, I don't buy it. Like I've never purchased a car. I've been lucky enough to been gifted a car before, and I was able to get to school and to work, which I would have never gone to school if I was never gifted this vehicle. I may have just took online classes, or may have maybe carpooled or did something different. So I didn't buy a car, which means I didn't have this immediate car payment, or didn't have this immediate reduction if I were to pay, cash for a used car. And because of that, I then had an ample amount of time to use my creativity and use my other resources to think on other things, to do other things, to solve other problems. And I wasn't budgeting. I didn't budget a car out of my life. I just said I didn't want to pay it. Periodly. I didn't want that barrier before me. I didn't want to have to see this money going towards an automobile that was just going to strip away my creativity and really just reduce the life I wanted to live by my way of my identity, of by way of my destiny that was waiting for me. So we all have these types of decisions kind of before us. And it's always best to let your creativity help you problem solve. Now, yes, if you're going away to college, you may need to get student loans. You may need to get some other financial help. That is a huge decision. That is a huge life change. And that is something that every individual needs to decide on their own if they want to take student loans. If you want to take student loans, that's fine. Just probably starting at a community college, starting somewhere small is probably the best way to go. Don't just take out a whole bunch of money just to get to college. That is a complete waste of time. It's a waste of your resources, waste of creativity. You also want to make sure that when people tell you not to worry about money, you want to know why are they saying don't worry about money. We often hear this, don't worry about money, to young people. And then what happens? Well, you need money to go to school. Maybe you do need that car to get to a job. So how do you get, where does this money come from? You're just going to rely on your parents. And some people may have that opportunity. You might be able to use share resources with your family or another coworker. So there's a lot of different things you can do. But when people say don't worry about money, they're almost in a way taking away your soul and away an opportunity with your creativity to come to understand money, come to understand the world with money, and you're limiting your identity development when people just say go live your life or don't worry about money. It's very, very dangerous. You don't need to go and live your life off at college. You don't need to go and live your life off on a vacation. Your life is now, your life is present, and you need to be in the present, and you need to be here in the present so that you can, with your creativity, begin cultivating identity, come to understand the observable world, come to understand money, which we're talking about in this show here, understand the importance of money and how it can be used to facilitate your creativity, which then leads to an identity, or at least help you cultivate an identity through hobbies, through maybe you learn to invest early on in life. That's what I did. You can do a lot of things when you put money first through creativity to solve problems. And the biggest problem that you want to solve is, how can I forever be free? And how soon can I retire into the life, into the destiny that I want to be living in, that's going to ultimately make my life more beautiful, and also anyone who wishes to partake in my life. So when people say, go live your life, just sit back, think, and ask them, what do you truly mean by that? Or when they say, don't worry about money, it's like, just ask them to buy you a car then. If money isn't that big of a concern for them, tell them to buy you a car for, completely, no strings attached. And ask them, for college, money for college. And if they're not going to do that, then, if they're not going to at least then provide some advice on what to do with money or how to handle money, this person is probably trying to lead you astray and trying to lead you away from your destiny, trying to bring you into chaos where your life ends up being broken, and then you have to crawl back to literally find your soul, find your creativity, so that you can again begin nurturing that identity, so that you can have your destiny that is waiting for you. So that is it for today's show. Remember, be very wary of when people say just go live your life or don't worry about money. Money is very important. Our creativity sometimes requires resources, and money is sometimes needed to cultivate that creativity, to empower that creativity. So don't be afraid of money. Don't fear success. Get out there, conquer the world with your creativity. Make the world more beautiful with your creativity. Problem solve through your creativity, and really just grow up from where you currently are, your current being, and become with the resources that you can derive through your creativity.